The fate is disturbing.
Believe it. Okay!
What's going on, Geeks? You listen to episode 344 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Lj.Lowery.
Yo!
And Shelley Nollan.
Hello!
This week, we're geeking out. Are we geeking out about Harry Potter? We're talking.
We're talking about it. Oh boy!
I was gonna say, I think we're all a little bit bitter in some ways, like with.
We're talking about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Some new trailers, Mario, Zelda, more, and Amazon basically reviving MGM Studios in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Well, at least a bunch of their properties. But we'll start out with the games that we've been playing. LJ, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I've been playing some fun stuff this week. So, by the time this episode goes up, Disney Speedstorm will be out. I've had a review copy since Friday. Yeah, since Friday. And it's a lot of fun. It is... so it's going to sound dirty when I say Game Loft, right? Because they're like well known for like the older like mobile games. Mm-hmm. But I would say so. They also made Dreamlight Valley, right? Which Dreamlight Valley is a lot of people enjoy it. It does have like mobile style, like paid elements to it. But Dreamlight Valley is one of those games where I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Like people seem to be enjoying it without that. And Speedstorm, I'd say, is the same way. I did get a Founders Pack from the PR company, and it let me unlock Mickey and Donald, and then like another character I wanted to use. But I've already also unlocked 2 other characters like since then, and I'm sure with every season they're going to have other themes. So like right now it's Monsters Inc. themed for the most part. So I unlocked Mike Wazowski. But you can be other characters like Sully and Cecilia. And then one of the character that I had one available character from the Founders Pack. Like just I can choose anyone to unlock. So I unlocked Beast from Beauty and the Beast. And
solid choice.
So they do have like categories for the racers, like because of like their play style and like weapons. I would say this compares a lot more to like the Sonic racing games than like Mario Kart, which the last couple of Sonic racing games have been pretty darn good. There's customization and all that stuff. My favorite thing is obviously you're gonna race in like Disney tracks and like Disney like themed tracks and all that. My favorite thing is the soundtrack. They basically remix the soundtrack like certain well-known songs and do like almost like dubstep, like house, like like techno kind of version of them, and they're really cool because they use actual sound clips. Like they have on the Jungle Book stage, they have a version of Trust in Me, and then obviously, and then so the Hercules stages they have a remix of Zero to Hero. Mulan they have I don't remember which song it was now that I think about it. Gosh, but they do a couple where like they'll have words and then some of them won't. But like it's one of those things you just know those songs so well, so it just hits. The Mickey stages, like the classic Toontown stages, are like classic Mickey Mouse songs and all that, and that's by far my favorite part of the game. So I think that's going to be free to play this week, and I really don't think you absolutely need to. I'm not sure how it'll work like when you don't have anything. I mean, maybe I think it's just like Mickey or something. But I don't think it's going to be difficult to get. They do this thing now, what's called shards with a lot of mobile games. If you collect enough of these like tokens of these characters and stuff like that, then you'll be able to get them pretty quickly. Off of the starter stages, I think alone, because there's like starter tracks. I got Goofy off of one as soon as I finished Mickey and Donald's. And then there's other characters I think you'll be able to get that way too. So I think it's super fun. It's I think if Gameloft adopts this idea of, hey, we can make quality games and still have some of those mobile trappings too, I think that's okay. Mm-hmm. Speedstorm is super fun, though. I've been playing a lot of it. I did get a Steam code, so I was not only playing on Steam on PC, but it works perfectly on my deck. Even though it doesn't say whether it's verified or not. I think I've discovered that the verified system on Steam is kind of fast and loose with it. Like, there are certain games that are untested or, that are just, that I've found that do work amazing. And this is one of them. So, yeah. The Founders Pack I had a Battle Pass and everything and all that. So, I think I got off to a pretty nice little start covering the game. So, yeah, I recommend looking into that. I wish I knew whether it was going to be free to play right away or not, but I think it might be. I know Dreamlight Valley technically isn't. I think that game is still considered in early access or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. The other thing I've been playing that kind of popped out of nowhere is, I think I talked about this before, is there's a game called X Defiant. It's that Ubisoft Call of Duty shooter. And people got really upset when the Tom Clancy name was attached to this because it's very brightly colored. It has more properties than Tom Clancy. It has Far Cry style classes. DedSec from Watch Dogs is a faction. So it's got a bunch of factions from Ubisoft games. You have the Phantoms. You have the Phantoms from Ghost Recon. You have the Libertantes from Far Cry 6. You have this kind of one of the evil factions, or one of the enemy factions from the Division.
Mm-hmm.
That wear a bunch of fireman gear and they have a bunch of fire related powers. And then you have the Echelon, which is Splinter Cell style stuff, so they're the more stealthy type of characters. And then there's DedSec, which are the more obviously hacker style character classes.
Right.
I think it's fun. It feels like old school Call of Duty. There's not a lot to it. It's just jumping in the game, picking what guns you want and kind of a thing, and just getting in there and just running some matches. I think it's super fun. It's a closed beta technically, but there's no NDA right now. I got a key from the Twitch drop. From the first 48 hours it went live, and it's live until the 23rd. So which is a whole it's probably about a whole week. So I think it's fun. It seems like they're getting close to release because they're just letting people stream it and get video of it and everything. So I think it's fun. To me, I think we need more competition for the Call of Duties and the Fortnites out there. And
I think it's
not that this is
good,
going
healthy
to
competition.
Yeah, not that this is going to really overthrow Call of Duty, but I feel like this is a more quality shooter than there's a lot of free to play games out there that are totally just crashing and burning.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a lot of people that are faithful to those Ubisoft franchises, or at least to Ubisoft, that still enjoy those games. And I think it's a fun. It just feels like I'm playing old school Call of Duty, and that's kind of what I want. So it's good. I'm enjoying it. So those are the things I played this week.
What about you, Shelley?
I didn't play anything new, but I've been playing more Persona 3 Portable. And I think I am kind of starting to finally get it and kind of get into that groove a little bit of understanding, when to go into Tartarus and what to do when I'm in Tartarus, and what to do when I'm not in Tartarus. It's always, I'm finally hitting that struggle of oh shoot, everybody wants to hang out with me today. Who do I prioritize? Who do I hang out with? I want to hang out with everybody, which happens in the game, right? You always try and figure out who to hang out with. I didn't really understand the extent of the differences in Portable, the differences between the male and female protagonists, and I actually chose male because the cutscenes I got are from FES, which only has the male protagonist, and 2, I figured it would be fun to, on first playthrough, play with the male protagonist as kind of original intention a little bit, and then on replay be able to do the female protagonist. But I didn't really realize the extent of the differences between the two, in the sense of what social links you get available to you, which I think is actually really cool, because I feel like there's so many games where being male or female doesn't have any impact on the story, which is fine. And I think that's a fine baseline, right? I think it's always good to be able to choose whatever feels represents you or whatever you want to play, right? But then I think it's really neat, actually, that it's like, oh, being a man or woman actually affects your relationship with people, and you can, like, get closer with some people than you can with others. And the conversations you have end up being different. And I'm like, I actually think that's, like, really cool.
Yeah,
and I think
guess,
maybe... Because that's, I don't know, more realistic to real life, right?
Well, I mean, it makes sense, too,
Right.
because you only play as male characters in 4 and 5, so it's almost like...
Exactly.
When you think about it, it would have been real nice if they maybe just decided to do that going forward with the series.
Oh, I know. It would have been nice, but...
And then, obviously, you know, you playing as a female character, that's probably what you want to do, and you'll probably be able to connect with him more. I mean...
Exactly, whenever I replay the game, I think so, but, I just think that's neat. I think that's, an underrated sort of thing where, you know, there is an idea of, you know, obviously men work women equal, right? That's not, you know, I'm not trying to say that's bad or anything.
Right.
I think in video games that's still really good baselines, especially in RPGs. I think that's sort of like, I feel like you kind of, in most games nowadays, you kind of need to be able to have that, like, either or. Especially if you're creating your character, that's already a thing most games have, but that almost never has any impact on the story or game itself, like even gameplay or anything. So I just think it's kind of cool how they're like, no, you actually get an entirely different experience. Not entirely, but like for example, Junpei is the sort of main guy friend that you have in the game. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to figure out for the longest time, like, well, how do I unlock his social link? Because he's my bud, and I always try to prioritize the Yosuke's or the Ryuji's, right? Mm-hmm. The first kind of guy friend you get, right? I'm like, oh, he's my best bud. I need to be friends with him. Yeah. I don't get to be friends with him. I get to be friends with somebody else who is, in my opinion, way, way worse. But that's okay. Like, I'm fine with that trade-off because I'm like, oh, but it also means I can be friends with the girl character who you meet at the beginning. And if I was girl, then I don't get that social link. Again, it would give me something else. And I'm just like, that's kind of like neat. That's kind of cool. Like, and but just so different than what I'm used to. But I think it's cool that, and it gives people a reason to play the game again. Yeah. You know, and I don't know if you could do New Game plus the other gender. I'm sure you can. Right. But it's like, it gives you more incentive to go back and play it again because then you can play with a different perspective. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of a different sort of time, right? Things kind of change. I think that's super cool. Again, I think more games need to utilize that. I think people are kind of like scared to. I don't know, because like, you know, again, it's like, well, being a man or woman shouldn't affect how you play the game. But I think for a game like this, where it's like it takes place at school for the most part, and you're in high school, you're hanging out with other high schoolers for the most part. I'm like, yeah, gender dynamics are a thing, and you shouldn't really ignore that. Like, that is a legitimate thing that exists, and I think it's really cool that they like basically tried to put that into this game. I think that's really cool, and takes way more time and effort than just like switching all the pronouns, you know, in dialogue, right? That's usually what games do. They just switch the dialogue, and again, that's better than nothing. It's better than just locking down whatever you can do, but anyway, so that game I'm starting to finally kind of like get and understand a little bit more, and kind of getting in that groove, which is good because I was a little bit worried. I was like, am I gonna like, you know, especially because I've heard this game in particular, you really do need to grind. And I'm like, am I gonna enjoy grinding this game? And I think I'm finally kind of getting to a point where I am. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm kind of figuring out how to grind in this game, and this makes sense to me, and I can work with this. Like, I can grind, I can do it. So that's been good. And my husband's still playing Octopath. He started, and it's just obviously gorgeous. Music's great, and the gameplay looks very similar, which is cool. All of the characters seem really cool and fun, at least that I've seen. I like how one is just Edmond Montes from Count of Monte Cristo. Like, he's just that character. Essentially, like, he gets like thrown to prison and like goes on this whole revenge quest thing. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, most of the characters seem pretty fun, and they can like have little like essentially paralogs or like little side quests with one of the other characters. Which again, in the first game, they didn't really interact with each other at all, which was like really weird. But I think it's cool in this game. There's some of these characters have sort of like side quests that affect two of them, and so they'll like talk to each other about it and like work together on it. I think that's pretty neat. But yeah, again, I'm not playing it. I'm just watching it. But it's very
Right.
fun to watch. I have a good time with that because it's very. I guess it's not actually that cinematic, but I think I kind of get tricked on thinking cinematic with like how pretty it is.
That's cool.
Cool game though. But that's what I've been playing.
Sweet.
Yeah. I've just been playing Chained Echoes some more. I've been doing that on the stream still. I play about an hour at a time. I haven't been playing like more than an hour per stream, but we basically get through like a story beat.
Oh, cool.
That's been really cool. Yeah. So for those who aren't, streaming it, kind of know that you can get through a story beat in about an hour, and it's really easy. Pick that game up for an hour, put it down.
Sounds like we got a pretty good pace.
Yeah. Really, really enjoying that. It's been really cool. It's been really nice for the streams too, because I can just kind of, it gets this nice little closing bit, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna stop there because we can, and I'm not stopping in the middle of a story beat or anything.
Yeah.
Really loving it. And then I guess I'll mention it. I won't talk about it a whole lot, but I mentioned that I did a one shot a few weeks ago with a crew of new D&D players, and they want to play D&D regularly. And so I dived real deep into it. Hyperfixation is probably the word. Trying to get the world building and, what do we want for our maps? And my wife was showing me the different like module pieces that you can make or you can buy. Definitely not going to buy. And that's a whole hobby within itself. We could like spend hours and hours making little modular pieces for this game. Don't think I'm going to do that, but trying to figure all that out has been a lot of fun, and piecing together this story, or at least this world for them to play in. I knew that I definitely wanted to go like homebrew with for the overworld, and just kind of make our own thing. But diving in is really, really cool. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Haven't watched a lot of Critical Role before. I knew what it was, and I liked Vox Machina.
Right.
But doing a little bit of that now that I'm, looking at it, and most people consider Matt Mercer to be one of the best DMs ever. So,
well, into entertainment.
Yeah.
I always get a little bit. I don't know if miffed is the right word, but everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Matt Mercer's like the best DM ever." I'm just like, well, there's amazing DMs that a lot of them, most of them, just aren't on the screen.
Yeah.
He is absolutely a fantastic DM. That is true. It is true. Yep.
And I've been doing that too, is like reading like the critiques against him and stuff too. Like, what is he doing right? What is he doing wrong?
Yeah. I think a lot of people just I think the worry I always have with Critical Role is people consume Critical Role, whether it be Vox Machina show or like just actual Critical Role, like the show there. And then they go into D&D thinking like, oh, it's gonna be exactly this experience, without realizing that it's like these are paid actors, literally.
Yeah,
they're good at their craft.
Right, they can voice act and do all these things.
Yeah, so as long as you temper your expectations, though. But I think you're fine.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of the biggest critiques I saw with Matt Mercer, as far as like actual gameplay, if people watching may want to like DM themselves, is that he kind of over describes, and that's really good when you're doing something for entertainment. A lot of DMs don't describe enough, but if he spends 10 minutes describing something, it's really cool for you watching
a little Tolkien-esque
to envision it.
If you're playing, you're like, all right, dude, get over yourself, like, let's go. If you were actually playing, and like you said, they're actors, so they give these like big broad reactions to things that if you were in like a normal room playing, you would kind of be like, all right, let's go. So finding that balance is really, really interesting. There's some other really cool, I don't have any other names, but other like DMs that I've seen on like TikTok and stuff, and we're watching some of their critiques and their hints and tips and all those kind of things. And so it's cool. I'm ready to dive in. I don't think it'll be a lot of fun.
Nice.
I'm definitely one of those that I didn't really want to DM. I want to play. We don't have a DM though, so I'm gonna DM kind of situation. But I think because of that, I'm really wanting to DM with like the players in mind. Like I want them to have fun. I've read a lot and I've experienced this before, but DMs that are real spiteful against their players, and I don't really understand that. Maybe I will after a few sessions, but it's just weird to me that you would like kind of revenge against your players. So I think going into that may be helpful.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Just as long as
I don't know.
everyone's having fun, you're having fun too.
Yes.
Because like that's the other thing too is like
Yeah.
it's important for the DM to have fun as well. Like you're also playing this game.
I
You're running
expect the
it,
DM
sure,
to give
but,
me
like,
consequences, but like, yeah, what you're talking about just sounds like. Over
Yeah, and
the
maybe
top.
I've just been fortunate. Like the one shot, we all like had a blast with it.
Heck
and
yeah.
everyone was really cool.
Mhm.
No one was like overly obnoxiously trying to like derail situations. They all wanted to play what was made. They didn't want to like completely go left field to something that I hadn't prepared, because then it wouldn't be fun for anyone, kind of thing. And I guess there are players that are like that, but I don't know. I like the idea of like the creativity and the improv of it all.
Oh yeah.
I did improv in high school as like a class, I guess, like an extracurricular activity, and loved that. And so this is kind of like another chance to kind of play with that craft, I guess.
Heck yeah. It's so fun. I love D&D.
Yeah. Our first session, I should say, is we're going to do it every third week of the month, starting in July. So I've got time for them to get the characters and lots of prep time. I'm getting way ahead of myself. But
Oh, that's
we wanted to kind of wait
fine.
for the summer to get over, and it gives me plenty of time to build what I need to build out and decide what I want to do.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah.
Keep you guys updated.
That's cool.
Our campaign of like 3 years is ending Memorial Day weekend. So you'll be able to pick up, like, I'll be done with my big long campaign, then you're going to start yours. Oh, cool.
Yeah. It'll be cool. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Alright. We can get into the video game news, though.
Cool. So you mentioned Matt Mercer, right? You know what else Matt Mercer does?
He voices Ganondorf.
He voices
yes,
Ganondorf.
baby! He
Does
voices
he really? That's awesome. I
Ganondorf.
didn't
He's the
realize
voice.
that.
Yeah,
That
I
was
was
good.
like, I was like, I cannot wait for that segue.
What
dude.
a perfect
I was like,
segue.
Yes,
Dude.
That's awesome.
Voice
anyway.
actor first, DM second. Man,
Yeah.
he's so cool.
So what I'm talking about is the Tears of the Kingdom final trailer happened recently, and to me at first I didn't watch it because I'm like, okay, we've already seen so much of this game, like what else do I need to see? But apparently everybody needed to see Ganondorf.
I mean, it's finally, I think, like, they gave us such little information up until this point where they were like, oh, there's Sky Islands, guys, and you have a weird-looking arm, and we're like, we want to know more. And then eventually they're like, this is kind of nuts and bolts. Like, you can make little makeshift things, and you can fuse weapons with things, which is, like, really fun. And we're like, okay, cool. Gameplay, we're getting there. Awesome. We understand what the gameplay is going to be. What's the story? What's the plot? Are we going to know any? And then we're starting to see that finally, not necessarily hardline plot, but like enough to theorize on it and enough to be like, to confirm some theories too. Cause like, I don't know, I went pretty deep into all the theory crafting and watching theories from Breath of the Wild, like all the Zonai stuff. So the fact that Zonai is like confirmed through this trailer, I think it's so cool. I'm just like, let's go. Like,
I do think it's neat that, like, so a lot of Zelda games, I mean, I guess I haven't played every Zelda game, but I've played a lot of them, and it usually seems like there's one like second type of, second half, or like how like Ocarina of Time you have Adult Link, Link to the Past you have the Dark World and things like that, and then like other games have that like second half gimmick most of the time. Or it seems like they just did that with Breath of the Wild and split it into two games, because now you're getting into this almost like, not that it wasn't already a post-apocalyptic setting, but now it's like feels like it's even worse. Like it's just like, oh, like this is gonna get a lot scarier than than it already was. It looks like to me by watching that trailer. Like it wasn't over kind of a thing. Yeah, I think it's exciting. I'd mentioned how I believe I mentioned the little glitch that I did last week on Breath of the Wild. I still don't know if I'm going to get to Tears of the Kingdom at all, because I really need to finish Breath of the Wild first. But it's exciting. It's almost here. Like April's going to be over before we know it.
I think I'm finally starting to get excited for it again, because I think this is like kind of the push I needed, where it's like, oh, like, this looks fun and cool, but it's so far away. This looks fun, cool, but so far away. And now finally I'm like, not that far away.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be more than Breath of the Wild 2.0 now at this point. Like, I think
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they're still just regular Hyrule, but now there's just stuff in the sky. There's new gameplay elements, potentially replacing some other ones. Like, we don't see the Sheikah Slate, we just see stuff with his arm, which is totally fine with me. I think that's great, even.
Yeah.
But then an evolution on the story, I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
It'll be the first game that I buy full price in a while.
I think same.
That's the first $70 game on Nintendo Switch as well. Like, at least first party, like, release. Yep. It's crazy.
I'm gonna eat that during backlog off, but it's okay.
I honestly recommend what it sounds. I think honestly, what I've seen people recommend is that how they have the voucher things back again. If you buy that $100 voucher, you're automatically getting Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, a lot of people are. You're going to get Tears of the Kingdom for $70, and that second voucher is going to be used. You can use that on another game. So technically, if you're buying that other game for like half price at that point, if Zelda's $70. So I don't know like what else they have on that list, but if there's maybe another game you've been wanting to pick up for a long time, or that might be on that list or something. Like, I mean, I guess this is for like listeners too. Like, if there's a game on that list that you just haven't picked up yet or something, like that might be a good. It might be good value just to you already know you're going to spend that much money. What's $30 more, and hopefully saving you some money on another thing, kind of. Yeah. So, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. It's Ganondorf does look. I was calling him Swollendorf earlier because that dude. His design is crazy. It reminds me.
Dude, he looks so good.
It kind of reminds me of like Akuma or something, like just from Street Fighter. Like the dude.
Yeah.
The dude just looks like he's ready to just tear it up. Like
no, he looks so great. Like he really looks like kind of a mix between Wind Waker and Twilight Princess Ganondorf a bit, which I think is super cool, and also just insane that unless you count HD remakes, which right now I'm not counting.
Yeah.
Last time we saw him was Wind Waker on GameCube. Like Ganondorf.
I mean, Wind Waker came out... Wait, Twilight Princess came out on the Wii.
Well, yeah, but it came out first on the GameCube. I'm talking, like, first, like, releases. And I guess, sure, last time we saw him was Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD and technically Twilight Princess on the Wii. But as far as, like, new game being released on its original system.
New concept of him.
That's
crazy
to me. Like, you've skipped 2 generations of consoles.
Yep.
And that's not even counting handhelds.
The last carnation of him.
Yeah.
Minus Smash Bros.
Okay, fine, sure. But in a mainline Zelda game, I guess maybe I need to be more specific. And maybe it's not that interesting and cool. I think it's pretty interesting and cool.
I know it is. I really think it's...
I think it's crazy to think that he hasn't been in one in this long, but like any Zelda that there has been remakes, a lot of remakes, or like Skyward Sword does not have Ganondorf in it. But if you watch this trailer, there's just like, I don't know, ever since they like started talking about like the Sky Islands and everything too, like there's been a lot of like, oh, Skyward Sword kind of comes into it a bit. Skyward Sword is going to get into, and I really think there's going to be a lot of Skyward Sword references in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
2006.
Game? That is a long
2006
time.
2006 would have been the last time. Twilight Princess.
Yep.
Sheesh. Man, I'm pretty excited though. I'm like, it'll be first time taking out my Switch in a long time besides playing Smash, of course. That's like all I ever do now with my Switch, but that'll be kind of crazy. Heck
yeah. I guess like I always think of Ganondorf first before I think of the other forms of Ganon, just because like that's what I grew up on with Ocarina of Time.
And he's most iconic.
Like, I always had it in my head that like Ganondorf as I guess when I think of Ganon, I always think of him as Ganondorf. So in my head, I always thought I was going to be fighting Ganondorf at the end of Breath of the Wild anyway. But I'm like, oh, I forgot they're like 2 separate things.
Yeah, Calamity Ganon, and then a lot of other games you got. Like,
I almost don't even want to finish Breath of the Wild right now. I'm just like, I just want Ganondorf. Like, forget
rehydrated.
Rehydrated.
Forget Calamity Ganon. Just let me go fight Ganondorf. Anyway, yeah. Speaking of more like new reveals and stuff, we had a state of play for Final Fantasy 16, which I didn't watch initially, but I was like, oh, like I forgot that was a thing, like, you know, and I figured it'd be fun to talk about on the podcast. And I watched bits and pieces of it. I didn't watch it all the way through, but IGN had the different like pieces of the showcase as like videos. And it looks pretty crazy as far as like being a Final Fantasy game. It's weird like watching that combat because I just see Devil May Cry combat. I see like that just crazy combo nonsense, like, you know, that game is known for. I mean, obviously it's the Devil May Cry, combat designer, or obviously. But it looks, Final Fantasy 16 looks cool. It looks like it's going to be up my alley. It looks like a primarily an action game. Looks like there's definitely a map and exploration. So it's like, I wondered how much of an RPG this game was actually going to be. And it seems like, I don't know, just because of the combat. And then I saw kind of more of it from the showcase. And I was like, oh wow, like, hopefully the OG, well, not OG, I guess, but just hopefully those people that have been a fan of the franchise for a long time, hopefully there's still going to be plenty that they can enjoy. I saw that eventually you'll be able to ride a chocobo across like the map, which looks fun.
So cool.
I'm like, yes, just let me ride chocobos again.
Yes.
It sounds like the character you'll be playing as the character through a few different phases of his life and stuff like that. I don't know that you can control party members. They're probably going to do that thing like they did in 15, where you just like have the actions like, of the party members. But I think it was just mostly focused on the one character. I think his name is Clive. But it looks fun.
Heck yeah.
And this is coming out in
Excited.
June. Yeah, I'm definitely going to check out Final Fantasy 16. Looks like a lot of fun.
Yes.
We were talking about it
I
earlier.
really enjoyed 15, and that was as someone who doesn't like. I don't play a lot of Final Fantasy games.
I
It's funny
enjoyed
'cause
it
That's
too.
probably why you liked it. TBH.
Yeah,
I mean, I liked
I
it
know a lot of
too
people
for
didn't.
the same reason.
yeah. So my
yeah.
wife is a huge Final Fantasy fan, and I'm a huge Zelda fan.
Right.
And so I like Breath of the Wild. It wasn't like the best Zelda game I've ever played, but I was like, this is really cool and different.
Yeah. Still a really good game.
And she like, you can't platinum in Nintendo, but basically like got all the Korok seeds, got all the shrines,
Wow.
and everything she could. And
Nice.
I definitely didn't do that. I beat the game and was done. And then Final Fantasy 15, I beat the Adamantium, and I did the Picchios, and I did all the extra stuff. And she didn't even beat the game. She was like, "It's not the best Final Fantasy game." I was like, this is amazing.
That's a game I fell off so hard that I really enjoyed too.
I'm excited for 16.
Yeah, 16 looks awesome. Like it looks really fun to play. So that's coming out like in June. So after people have had time to play Tears of the Kingdom, they can jump to Final Fantasy. The last piece of news we have is we talked about, some of us are bitter about this Harry Potter news we have today. So Quidditch Champions was announced today, and I'm like,
Broomstick League.
yes. So I'm like, okay, cool, but is this why
Most people don't even know what Broomstick League is.
No,
Right.
they don't.
I remember. Pepper Ridge Farm remembers.
So Broomstick League was this game, and it was basically Quidditch, but it was 3-on-3 like Rocket League. Like
I would say it's basically Rocket League.
It's Rocket League, but on a broom.
On brooms.
Yes, and it was
very goofy. The mechanics or like the physics weren't perfect. They were very Rocket League-esque.
Yeah. It was like, and then so we were in talks to get our logo in the game. What was the most exciting about that was our logo hadn't even officially, like when we launched our rebranding, I guess. I don't know if that's the proper term for it, but I sent them our new logo before anybody else even saw it, because I'm like, this is perfect timing. We're rebranding. Like, let's go.
It would have been huge. It's so cool. I would have been huge,
but
but it would have been really cool for
and
us.
so
We're really excited about it.
It's not just the fact that we're going to get our logo. Like, I actually enjoyed the game. I streamed it.
Yeah.
I streamed it for one of our pledge drives because I'm like, I'm so
I
excited
never got to
about
play.
this.
I was like, I'll just wait till it comes out.
Then
And
It was announced for PS4 and everything. Like, they even sent us a copy, and it was just, like, I got to basically show that game to everybody and get people excited about it. And then all of a sudden, not long after, I swear, it was maybe within a month, they said, hey, we're shutting down, we're shutting down the game. We're no longer continuing development. And they have never said why. And then apparently this game, it's from a dev who's done some PC games, and they're also like helping, I guess, with development of Suicide Squad. Okay. Apparently, it's called Unbroken, and apparently this game has been in development for a few years, and I'm going to look up when Broomstick League was coming out. Let me see. Let's see. Quidditch inspired Broomstick League game. Yeah, 2020.
Sounds
3 years
right.
ago.
3 years ago. I would bet Quidditch Champions is the reason. Because I was trying to figure out why. Because at first I thought, like, maybe the leaks of and rumors of Hogwarts Legacy were the reason. But no, like 3 years later, here we are, and I'm like, yep, this has to be the reason that Broomstick League got canceled. Yeah. Like,
so it better be good.
It better be
as good as Broomstick League.
And it better be. So I'm confused also because, like, what is this game gonna be? Like, they haven't said. They're
be EA games.
They're letting us sign up for. I hope it is, because that would be the best thing. They're letting people sign up for playtests without showing, like, anybody any gameplay or anything. Like, I think there's just like a teaser video. I want to see what this game is. I really do. I just got through streaming an entire season of Quidditch World Cup on my Twitch channel, and I was I just want that. But also, apparently, I guess they do say that it will feature player-created characters. So I don't know, like, I just don't know how you're going to do this game. I hope that they just look at Quidditch World Cup and go, okay. And then it's like, I think of, like, if they really wanted to do something like Broomstick League, like, the actual sport of Quidditch has more players than just, like, 3 or 4. So, I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I'm also hesitant on it. Like, I'm just like, like this. I'm worried now. Because I was hoping we were going to get Quidditch in, like, Hogwarts Legacy or something. But in hindsight, after flying around the broom in Hogwarts Legacy, I'm like, I don't want to play Quidditch with those broom controls. So, I think that whatever this is going to be, I hope it's good. Because Broomstick League had to die for this game. I'm getting off. I'm gonna hop off my soapbox now. But yeah, that's the story on Quidditch Champions. So we can move on.
Yay. I guess. Well, before we get too sad, we'll move on to movies we've been watching.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Go ahead, Shelley.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Yeah, we watched the Mario movie.
Wahoo?
The Mario movie. And it was a movie. It really was.
It was a movie.
But
I love you when in chat you're like, it was a movie, and I'm like, oh yeah, I just watched a movie too, and it was also a movie.
It was also a movie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's I don't know if it was better or worse than I thought it would be. I think it's better than I thought it was going to be. I did enjoy myself, but I think half the reason I enjoyed myself so much was because I was there with one of my friends who loves the Mario series. Like, he speedruns Mario 64, that sort of thing. Like, he loves Mario. And so every time there's a reference or thing, which, that's what the movie is, right? I look to him and he'll just just make some face. He'll be like, "Oh my gosh!" And so I think that was half the reason I had such a good time was just watching his react. And all of us, it was a group of 4 of us, and all of us would just be cringing at certain parts, but not necessarily the bad cringe. Just oh man, what a deep cut, stuff like that. We just feel oh man, they did this thing because we're all grew up on Mario games. But it was really fun. Definitely fun to see in a group at a theater. I feel like it'd probably be really awkward at home.
I
by
just
yourself.
realized
I'm
we
very
could get
sorry.
Flood in a Mario sequel at some point.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it was really fun. And I'm definitely glad I watched it and saw it. But it's like, it was a fever dream. Like, even later on that day, I was trying to like ask my husband and just be like, oh, what was your favorite part? And like, what do you think of the movie? And I was like, I'm barely having a hard time thinking about the movie. Like, I'm like, what happened? Like, things happened. Did I just make this up? Like, there's like, it was really like, it's a really strange feeling. I don't know if anyone else who's seen this movie kind of understands what I'm trying to say. It's just, you go to see a movie that has Mario and friends in it. That's just about Mario. And that's what you get. Like, it meets those expectations very solidly.
It's a trip it even got made in my mind.
I know,
like,
it's
this is
crazy.
When I saw that Nintendo logo, like, I was just like,
so weird.
Wow. I was like, this is like, crazy. So in that way, I get what you're saying. I'm just like,
yeah, it definitely felt surreal.
Yeah.
But no, and it definitely was a good time, and I think kids definitely have fun watching it, and I think adults have fun watching it. I think as long as you played a Mario game or two, you'll have fun watching it, but I don't think, if you don't play Mario games, or you haven't played many, even if you haven't played many Mario games, you may not like this movie. Like, I think it's only really good if you have played Mario games and, like, more than one. Because they reference multiple, and I'm not just talking about like Mario Hardline games. I mean like any game with Mario in it, right?
There's even references my mom gets, which which trips me out.
So it was definitely worth it, and it was definitely fun, but like so weird. Like, I think everyone, it's like I'm finally understanding why people have the reactions they do, because I feel like other people are having very similar reactions of like, yeah, the Mario movie. It was fun. It was weird. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Jack Black was amazing. It was crazy because I guess here's what I will say. Jack Black was just Jack Black, but in a good way. As Bowser.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen was just Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, but in a bad way. And then everybody else, I think, like, blended in with their character really well, and you couldn't really be like, they could have been anyone kind of thing. But I thought that was interesting, where I was like, oh man, Jack Black is obviously having a really good time with this, and then Seth Rogen was just like, I'm like, is that really what Donkey Kong's like? I don't think so, but okay, it's Seth Rogen, so,
yeah.
Anyway, those are my thoughts on the Mario movie. I feel like there's just not many thoughts to be had, There's just not many thoughts to be had.
I'll stand by and say that it was like, I think it was really fun, and it like if you didn't have those like Mario characters, like if this wasn't a Mario movie, it probably wouldn't be a good movie. But the fact that it is, I guess, makes it like more okay. Fun. Yeah, it makes it more okay.
I mean, you go to see Mario references, and that's all it is.
Yes.
But yes, I mean, I agree. Yeah,
the video games don't really have like that heavy of stories anyway, or anything like that. Like, I mean, nobody remembers Mario games for any plot points, maybe except
I do. Maybe Sunshine plot twists. I remember Sunshine's plot twists. Yeah, either way.
But I guess
Sunshine
maybe if you play the Mario RPG games and stuff too, like
absolutely, those are good.
I love the humor in the Mario and Luigi games, but like
Let me
other
ask
than those,
this, if you guys have seen it, how does it compare to Wreck-It Ralph?
Oh, better.
Is that apples or oranges?
Well, okay, better than the sequel.
Yes,
Ralph Breaks the Internet was bad, but Wreck-It Ralph, I think, is a better story.
Yes,
and I think it holds up really, really well on its own as with original characters that just happens to have other video games kind of referenced in it. So I think in that way it's a better movie because it's more original.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Whereas this was just a regurgitation of a bunch of Mario nostalgia.
Right.
Which obviously I enjoy because I'm the target audience. But by principle, I have to say it's worse. By principle.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe you'll love it. In fact, I think you will. I think you'll really like it.
Yeah, I'm sure I will.
Yeah. It's fun.
But yeah. I also watched a movie called Galaxy Quest.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Which I never watched before, and we were we were just bored and we didn't really want to watch. We wanted to watch something silly, and we didn't feel like watching any like new shows or anything serious. So we were kind of like going through our streaming services trying to figure out what to watch. And my husband's like, "Hey, have you seen Galaxy Quest? You're a big Star Trek fan, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And yeah, it's just a total spoof on Star Trek, but I loved it. I thought it was so fun. There was not many moments. There weren't almost any moments I think that made me like laugh out loud or anything, but I just thought it was like a fun and almost like wholesome movie like all the way through. I just thought it was like so like I loved the aliens that they were working with. For those who don't know, like the premise of Galaxy Quest, because I didn't know, is like there's these actors who play in a show called Galaxy Quest that's essentially Star Trek. It's very, very similar. And it has Tim Allen, it has Sigourney Weaver, it has Alan Rickman, which I'm like, holy lineup, bro.
It's got such a cult following now, too. Like, when I was younger, I was just like, oh, that's a fine movie, I guess. Like, then later on, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people that, like, weirdly, like, love this movie. And it is fun.
Dwight from The Office is in it as well. Yeah. Very briefly, he's not that he wasn't popular yet, but he's in it. Which is like a perfect role for him, honestly. But yeah, it's these actors in this fake show, or this show that exists in the universe. It's basically Star Trek, but then they end up having to basically do a real version of the show. Like some aliens ask for some help, and then they end up doing essentially Star Trek things and stuff that they have to do in Galaxy Quest as the actors. And they're like, but we don't know what we're doing. But they have to like kind of like embrace their roles and embrace what they've done. And I thought it was so funny. Like Sigourney Weaver's character, I don't even remember any of the characters' names, right? I just remember their actors, but it was like her whole thing is that she always just reads the what the computer says, which is totally a thing from Star Trek, right? Where it's just like, computer, this and that, and then the computer says something, and it's like the computer said this and that, right? And like then she starts getting like mad throughout the movie if other people start talking to the computer. She's like, no, that's my job. Like, I thought that was so funny, and like she'll just say computer, blah blah blah. I just it was really just kind of like fun and simple movie that I just liked it, because if you're a Star Trek fan, I think you would enjoy it. I did, so yeah.
What did you watch, LJ?
Yeah, I watched Suzume, which is the third movie from the director of Your Name. Well, I mean, he's done more than those. Like, I guess he's done others that never made it to the States. But this is like his. Well, this is his third big movie. Like his third since Your Name, I guess this is his third movie.
Is it technically in Your Name? I mean, no. I don't
know way, but I don't think any of these movies. I don't think any of these movies are connected.
The second movie's connected.
Is it?
To Your Name, 100%.
I don't remember. I never thought it was connected.
Very, very loosely, but 100%.
Cameos. Okay, one of those things. Okay.
Not to give anything away.
No, I guess I haven't. I watched it, I think, a few years ago, so I don't remember. But yeah, so maybe this movie does have something like that. Then I'm not sure.
Oh no.
I don't remember at all. So, but I can tell you that Your Name, obviously, I think that's why, like, since that movie got so big, this is the third one since that. Like, the director has done other things, like, before Your Name,
right,
as well.
Your Name's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, and it's so good.
Yeah.
I liked Weathering with You a lot, from what I remember. I think I watched it when last time I had COVID or something, and I watched a bunch of movies. So in a way, that movie's kind of a fever dream in itself, for me, literally. But I remember enjoying that. I'm like, I remember debating with myself: is this good as Your Name, or am I just like tripping? I'm like, I thought I came close. But I think Suzume is, being that it's like the third. I keep saying the third movie. But being that it's like we've done this two other times before. Because obviously, like from the trailers, you see like, oh, there's something kind of important going on. The plot's usually tied to this one massive thing that's about to happen, or something you're expecting to happen. And I think being that we've done this formula before, it does lose some of its like charm, I think, and some of it. But I also looked up that the reason why the director has done these movies is because like natural disasters and things like that are a very big. Obviously, there's a lot of that big stuff that's happened in Japan.
Yeah.
So this movie in particular was I guess influenced by, and I guess all his other movies are influenced by a big earthquake that happened in 2011 over there, big earthquake and tsunami. And so, like, to me, it's like, oh, while all of us in the West probably don't connect with that as much, he and other, people there probably, it's probably uprooted their lives and had a big impact, So obviously he keeps making these movies based off of that experience or that trauma or, I like it. It's a fun movie. I was surprised because I expected to go in watching the dub, but but then when I walked in there, it was subtitles, and I'm like, you know what? I'm still gonna roll with this. I'm like, it'll be fun to watch the subbed version and then the dub version whenever it comes out to like streaming services and stuff. It's pretty fun. I don't know what to necessarily say without spoilers, but the trailer does show that this thing happens, and like the love interest of the movie gets turned into a chair, and so the girl main character, she is stuck following around this chair while this big cataclysmic thing is like happening, or this big important event. And the humor is really fun. It's definitely quite an adventure, I think, which these movies tend to be. I just don't think it's as strong as Your Name or Weathering with You. I think
that's okay.
It's fun and perfectly enjoyable. It still looks absolutely pretty. Like all of these movies, this animation studio does some really, really, really amazing work. And I would say it is a very cinematic experience. Like, and I'm sure, especially overseas, I'm sure these movies are absolutely like huge. And it came out in November, I think, in Japan of like last year, and we barely got it. Yeah, I enjoyed it though. I'm gonna watch it again just because I want to hear like what the dubbed voices are like. But I think the plot is really kind of interesting. It seems like all of these movies have some kind of like supernatural element that doesn't really get explained, which I think is also interesting. Like there's a lot that's kind of leaves your brain thinking. Which I think is cool too, and is an enjoyable part about them. And I'd still think, like, every time I watch one of these movies, I always think, like, wonder how many people that aren't anime fans, like, watch these movies and enjoy them, or have watched them and enjoy them. So, like, I still debate, like, ooh, could I show my mom one of these movies? And Your Name would have been the movie, I just haven't showed her yet, which I own on Blu-ray, so I still might, but I think these
My mom
movies...
doesn't like anime, and she enjoyed Your Name.
Right, so that's why I'm thinking, like, while this one still isn't as good as the other two, I think it's still going to have a lot of merit as a cinematic experience. Like, so, I still think it's enjoyable, though. Like, if you're going to... I think Weathering with You came to HBO Max eventually, so I wonder if this will come to, like, a streaming service. I know since Crunchyroll and Funimation are a thing, I know this is, like, attached to, at least here in the West, attached to the Crunchyroll name. So I wonder if it'll come to that, or if it'll come to a mainstream streaming service. So I'd say wait for that, or wait till like in the next few months. I'm sure it'll pop up like on demand, or like on like as a rental. So if you want to spend like maybe $4 or $5 to rent it and check it out and see for yourself whether it's like as good or not. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at with it. Yeah. And
then I watched the D&D movie on Thieves.
Nice.
And I enjoyed it. I came in with very low expectations, though, so I don't know if it was necessarily like an amazing movie by any means.
Sure.
A lot of people said Guardians of the Galaxy, but medieval, and that fits it pretty well.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's very goofy and silly. It takes place in Dungeons & Dragons like lore, which is really cool.
Yes.
If you've played any module of anything from like D&D, you're going to recognize some of the names,
which
is
I
fun.
super haven't, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah. I started with the Mines of Fendalar or whatever, Caves of Fendalar, whatever it is, and that kind of gives you a rundown of a lot of the geography in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of lore stuff that was really cool, and that was what I appreciated. It's also very much a D&D campaign. You could kind of tell it almost does feel like they did a D&D campaign.
It reminds me of what you said about like watching Vox Machina.
Yeah, you could see the roles, and you could see
Yes.
the DM like making stuff up as he goes, even though you don't actually physically
Or,
literally
like,
see that. You
when
can just kinda,
stupid
like,
stuff
imagine it in
happens-
your head as you watch it.
Yeah, like when stupid stuff happens, it's not necessarily for the humor. It's more of a, oh, I could see myself making a mistake or a player making a mistake on a roll.
Right.
Mhm.
Or like certain things they do, I'm like, yeah, me and my friends would totally do some stupid crap like that. Like, you know,
Some
like,
of the names that they use are very.
Yeah.
I don't want to give anything away. They're very Dungeons and Dragons.
Right,
And,
yeah.
So it's cool in that respect, which is interesting because it wasn't really what I wanted out of a D&D movie necessarily. I remember we were talking about this before the movie came out.
Yeah.
I kind of was like, I'd rather a movie be serious because I can have the goofiness in my own campaigns. But I do feel like this was probably really well executed as far as like an advertisement
yeah.
for D&D. Like, I think people are going to watch this and be like, I want to watch I want to play D&D now that I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
And that's good. I think that people should check out D&D at least once and play like a one shot or something. It's just such a cool experience and such a bonding experience for friends to do these things. So I like it. I think you should invite your friends to go watch it.
That's what we were talking about, I think, a few weeks ago. Like, when you go see this movie, you're going to go see it with friends. You're going to go see it with your party. You know, like, so that movie.
And I do think that seeing it, like, it not taking itself seriously was probably for the better. I might retract my statement a little bit. I think of World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft took itself very seriously, and it was too cheesy to be taken seriously. So this movie kind of, like, joking about itself, I think, was a good thing.
So they should have had Leroy Jenkins in the Warcraft movie then.
Yeah. Yeah, the World of Warcraft movie, I mean, it took itself so seriously. And it was
Apparently
so
that
campy,
movie
and it
did
was just
super
kinda...
well internationally.
Did it really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Didn't know.
It was not a great movie.
No.
I really was excited. I was more excited for that than I was for this, but
I think I had
yeah.
that movie.
happily pleased with it. Happily surprised. My guess is that they'll make sequels to this, and that they will make spin-offs of this that take place in that world.
This
that will
and the
be
Mario
different
movie
parties.
feel like kindred
Yeah.
spirits, kind of. Like, the
Mhm.
plot is goofy, there's tons of references, and they're both, like, a really good time, I think.
Yeah.
And they're gonna
Tons
be...
of references. You're
there's
like,
gonna-
oh, that's this thing. That's one of these. Is that this spell?
Yeah. And there's
For sure.
gonna be sequels and maybe spin-offs. Like, I don't know about I
Yeah.
don't know about the D&D movie if there are gonna be spin-offs per se, but that's getting sequels. Like, Mario is definitely getting a sequel, and there's so much spin-off potential there too. So, yeah.
I think it's interesting too. Chris Pine had never played D&D before, and so the cast. I mean, you're going to choose a cast that's like best suited, but there's a lot of actors that like D&D, and so I would like them to make more some movies, even cameoing the people that do enjoy D&D. John, I can't remember his last name. He's Deathstroke in Snyder Cut.
Is it like Mangelino or something?
Mangelino, yeah, he's a huge D&D fan. I wouldn't want a Vin Diesel D&D movie, but Vin Diesel is a huge...
I just want Vin
Dungeons
Diesel
and
to
Dragons
come out and say, "Hand shark."
Oh my god.
Yeah. This is for family.
Yes, that too.
He's got a witch hunter that he loves playing as. They did film, and I don't know how much they filmed, Chris Pine and the rest of the cast playing D&D.
There's a secret like campaign or one shot thing that yeah.
There are clips somewhere. I hope it wasn't just a picture. I saw it on the internet. I didn't have time to click it. I would definitely want to see like the gameplay, like them playing the game. Chris Pine said he loved it. He said it's a game made for actors. Like, it's perfect for actors.
That makes
And it
sense
makes
why
sense,
all the voice
yeah.
actors are like real into it then too. Like,
Super. Yep,
Mhm.
because they get
It
to
took-
create
yeah.
their own character that they
Gosh.
want to play instead of being told or like typecasted or
right.
something.
And it really and they already role play technically like as a crew.
Absolutely.
Like, I just think of how long
it's not only the freedom to do that, but how they want to, like they get to play with that talent that they have.
They get
and then
all creative freedom with any sort
for
of exceptions
me,
for the DM.
I think of how like maybe a player like myself, like how long it took me to at least get comfortable to like have fun with the actual act of role playing. You know, like most players are probably super intimidated by the idea of that.
Mm-hmm. Or they can really dive into
that
kind of stuff. So yeah, I gotta see if it's like in a YouTube video, if it's just clips of it, if it was just a photo. But I really want to see their D&D stuff. I saw Vin Diesel played with Critical Role. I don't know if it's any good or not, but that was on my TikTok today. I was like, that's pretty crazy. But Vin Diesel is very, very into D&D. I've heard that a lot through the years. So we'll see. See if they get sequels. That's not in the news today. What is in the news today, Shelley?
So we have some things. Let's talk first about Marvel first. Sure, why not? Let's talk about it. So we have a trailer for The Marvels, which is gonna be a movie coming out, and it has all the sort of Marvel girls. So we have like Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and I don't remember Marie Rambeau's like official name.
Oh yeah.
Like, but she has very sort of powers that are kind of akin to like Captain Marvel a bit.
Yeah, I think she becomes a Captain Marvel in the comics or something.
Yeah, and like it was her mom who was like best friends with her. With Captain Marvel, so it's like a whole thing. If you watch WandaVision, you would know. But it's crazy. It's crazy how like I have been burnt out on Marvels for a while. Like I don't really care at all. But like watching this trailer, even though I never watched Miss Marvel, I very long ago watched WandaVision, like back when it came out, and didn't care that much for Captain Marvel. Like I thought it was fine. But for some reason, there's a lot of charm in this trailer, and I'm like, you know what?
It looks fun.
I like the concept of this. It's finally not just a concept that's like, oh, we're continuing the multiverse. I don't know, maybe they'll throw in multiverse stuff. In fact, they probably will. Who am I kidding?
So Monica is called Photon.
Photon? Okay, cool. I wasn't sure, but
yeah.
The idea is that whenever they use their powers, or if they use their powers in certain ways, they will each kind of like switch places with one of the other like Marvel girls. And that's just like, I think that's like a fun concept. So they kind of have to team up to figure out, it sounds like, right, from this trailer, they kind of have to team up to figure out what's going on, also to keep themselves from having to teleport like across the world and universe from each other, right? Because they kind of can go anywhere they want. But I think that's super cool, and it kind of makes me want to watch Miss Marvel because she was just so like cute and like so high school, and I'm just like,
Miss Marvel's
I like that a lot.
Like it's got its issues too, but it's fun.
A lot of people told me I would like it, and I just haven't watched it yet. But I don't know, maybe when this movie comes out, if it's good, maybe I'll watch it, or maybe I'll watch Miss Marvel to like get prepared for it or something. I don't know, but like I felt nothing.
It's all the good things about like a Spider-Man, and we never really got that in the Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
The teenage stuff.
But you're totally
I think about
right.
that too. Like they could have made a Spider-Man Iron Man movie kind of in the same vein of this Marvel's movie.
Yeah.
And it probably would have been great.
Man, that would have been awesome, actually. Oh, well.
But this would be good, too, I think.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know, the fact that I feel something positive, anything at all, like when I watch the Guardians 3 trailers, I feel nothing. Absolutely. I don't even feel disgust or like, I feel nothing. But I feel something on this, and it's a little bit fuzzy, and I'm like, that's at least something. That's good. Okay, cool. Finally, like I didn't feel anything for the Quantumania trailers.
James Gunn movie, knowing that he's done. Mm-hmm. He's in DC now. We're like, we don't care about your.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just weird, and it could still have all the potential to be awful. Really, it truly does. But I just think it's cool that they're finally taking I don't know, it seems like it's going to be more character focused. It's going to be sort of really focused on these three characters, the Marvels, right? So I think that's neat because I feel like so far it's not been very character focused. It's been very like big things are happening, and it's a superhero movie. I don't know. I don't think I'm describing that well at all. But I just think this is like, oh, we actually know all these characters. They're all from different shows or movies that have already come out. And they get to interact and do fun things. I'm like, yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's cool. I'm a fan. Anyway, besides that, though, we finally getting news about the Van Helsing reboot after, like, 3 years of no update. It was, like, announced, or it was, like...
getting a Van Helsing.
Yeah, it was finally... director has sort of provided an update saying, like, yeah, it's still happening. We're in the writing phase. It's like, okay.
I'm okay with my crappy Hugh Jackman movie, though, too. Like, I don't know that anyone asked for, like, a reboot, or I don't know what version of Van Helsing this is going to be. Like,
no clue, but it's kind of, yeah. I think it's...
Do we not like his Van Helsing, Hugh Jackman's?
I like it. Apparently, like, I don't know, just apparently, like, it's not a good movie. Like...
No, I love that.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's fun. Like it's.
I am nostalgic. There's nostalgia.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I watch it almost every year now. Like just because.
I don't do all that, but
like it's fun. You get all the yeah. I'll watch. I mean, I'm a sucker for vampire and werewolf themed stuff, so I'll definitely watch this, whatever it ends up being.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll be good if they're taking this much time on it. You know what I mean? It's definitely not something they're pushing out just to make money, maybe. Maybe they have some heart and soul behind it. Who knows? There's potential.
Yeah.
Finally, speaking of money, Super Mario Bros. Movie is still just doing super well. Kind of broke a couple more records for its second weekend in the box office. Let's see. It is the biggest second weekend for an animated movie, topping Frozen 2, which, I mean, it's already beat Frozen 2's opening, so that's, like, not surprising. But it's the 7th overall best second box office weekend just behind The Avengers, which is a little bit crazier to me. I'm just like,
that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty, kind of a lot bigger. And then when it comes to just post-COVID statistics, it's the biggest second weekend opening, beating out, I think, Top Gun Maverick, which is also kind of crazy. And I think also No Way Home. So when you throw those movies in there, I don't know why. Frozen 2, I think I kind of hear it and I'm like, whatever. But then when I hear Top Gun Maverick and No Way Home and like MCU movies like that, I'm just
second week stats are huge too.
Yeah,
because I'm trying to think of what came out too, but to have those stats like out of opening weekend, I think is cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think.
Are you guys ready for a Smash Bros. Universe?
Yes.
It's not going to be the one people want, but I think we'll get something.
No, it's going to be
if you got a Mario movie does well, and then they make, I don't know what they make next, but
I don't know. I will say this though.
I say you do. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I didn't really talk about when I was talking about my thoughts before, but I think what this movie does well is I think it really did hit a sweet spot with just video game adaptations in general, because it is an original story. But it has all these references and all these nostalgic nods to Mario games. And I think, because we always talk about video game movies and video game adaptations of like, oh, do you take a story from one of the games that already exists? Do you make a new story? Like, what do you do? And honestly, I think like Mario was perfect for this because Mario has so many different games and such loose lore, for lack of a better word, loose like world building, that they really could do whatever the heck they wanted with it, and as long as they threw in enough references, which they did, like, people are going to like it and enjoy it, and as long as it's kind of, like, funny and kind of feel good, because it is already a pretty, like, fun and feel good franchise. I mean, it's a hard franchise. In the mainline games, some of those games are really hard, but, like, you have, like, Mario Party, Mario Kart, everyone has played those, and those are, like, fun party games. You have a good time, so I think they really captured that energy and put it in the movie really well. And I think that's what's actually helping in the box office a lot as well, because usually you'll have like, oh, this video game movie came out. Oh, well, the story's so bad. Or, oh, the story was just from one of the games and I've already played the game. So like I didn't really feel the need, like I needed to watch it and, stuff like that. Whereas this is something where most people have played a Mario game at some point in their lives. And so they're going to get something from this. I still think the more Mario games you've played, the more enjoyment you're going to get out of it. As opposed to just playing one or two in your life, probably more is better. But, and it's such a wide audience, and they, do have an original story, and they do have they took some creative liberties that I think worked well for the screen that don't work well for the games. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think they hit a really good balance when it comes to video game movie adaptations. I think that's really helping in the box office, is all I'm trying to say. So all I'm saying is it makes sense that's making so much money. But I think what's going to be really interesting is, like, how is merch going to happen for this? Because there's already so much Mario merch. Like, is Illumination going to get any of that money from merch? Because half the reason, especially Illumination movies, like animated movies in general, like half the money, if not more, or at least a significant portion, I guess is what I should say. A significant portion of money they make from movies is purely from merch, especially for Illumination with the Minions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little bit, like, curious to see how that goes with them, because I mean, they're obviously going to make a ton of movie just from these box office openings, right? Like, they're already making a ton of money, but my next thought is always, oh, are they going to make merch? But I'm like, there's already Mario merch, and it's not really a movie that you could just make specifically Mario movie merch. Like, I can't really imagine what that would look like.
They made action figures already.
Okay.
And it's the design of Mario and Luigi are very slightly different. It seems like from
Weird.
According to looking at action figures, because I bought my nephew some regular old Mario action figure stuff recently.
Weird.
But they include, I think, certain props and or certain stuff that But I mean, but yes, it looks like it's not that far off. I think you can get a Hot Wheel of of their van or whatever and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right though. There's not much of a difference.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it was a weird thing for me to think about.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I mean, there's already so much merch out there. But
yeah.
Anyway, that's the movie news.
Cool. We will get into television then. I forgot a movie that I'd watched. We're gonna get into a movie that I watched, but it's kind of TV, so this works. We can segue
Okay.
TV through a Netflix TV movie, as the best way to put it, and that is Last Kingdom. Seven Kings Must Die.
Oh,
That movie kind of just snuck out, didn't it?
Yeah, that fits really well.
I didn't see anything about a
Last
trailer
Kingdom,
or anything about this.
yeah, it just kind of released. I think that's probably because it's not. It's very much for the Last Kingdom fans. If you haven't watched the Last Kingdom TV shows, the movie won't make any sense. I was hoping it would be this big epic thing that they would put in theaters.
I'm just surprised there was no marketing for it.
Yeah, they've been weird about Last Kingdom. They got really into this Vikings Valhalla show that they were working on. As Last Kingdom got canceled, even though it was in the top 10.
That could be
that's last season was in
why.
the top 10. And then
They found another
they
favorite
made
child.
the movie. Yeah, but the new favorite child is terrible. So I'm so bummed.
That was a funny sentence. I'm sorry.
Man.
It's real bad. The Seven Kings Must Die, though, is, like I said, you'd want to watch the show to watch the movie for sure.
I'll have to tell my
but
stepdad
it
that this is out.
so good. It is they wanted to be twisty, and I feel like me and my wife were talking about if it could have been another season, and so the show is really good with twists and turns in the storytelling, and so in the movie they just kind of crammed all those twists and turns into one movie.
I just want...
Yeah, and so it's every 15 minutes you're just okay, all right, that's how we're going. Okay, that's what we're doing. And that was really, really fun to see in a movie, because I haven't had anything that twisty in a while. The guy that plays Uhtred, Alexander Draymond, I think his name is, always does really well. I think this is probably a weaker performance than some of his stuff in the shows. He phoned it in a little bit, but I don't know what's behind the scenes. If he's in this movie, he might have been done with this as well.
They probably made this movie knowing it was canceled, knowing that they were done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really cool way to end the series, and I feel like it's disconnected enough from the show that, if it would have been the next season, there would have been such a time jump that it would have been kind of like odd.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend if you watch the show and you liked the show, watch this movie. If you're not interested in the show at all, this movie won't make sense. Don't bother watching it.
I need to get back to the show.
But it's on Netflix. You
Cool.
what?
I was just saying I need to get back to the show.
Yeah.
I watched like a season or two and I enjoyed it.
Movie is crazy. So good. I really love the way that they balance. I'm going to say the show overall and the movie, just 'cause I don't want to give too much away. Faith in that. It can get a little, I guess, anti-Christian sometimes. But then there are Christian characters that are in the show that are so good.
They kind of plead both cases in a way.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely got kind of a coexist message. But the Christian characters that are good Christian characters are done amazingly well. And then they have Christian villains because that's the world that they lived in.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. It is mature. Throw that out there. Should always throw it out there. Other TV shows I've been watching. Finished The Bad Batch today. It's more Bad Batch. I like The Bad Batch, so it was fun. Kind of a slower season, but the last 4 episodes.
I think next season is the last, right?
I don't know. That would make sense. It's Dave Filoni, and I'm almost wondering how much, if this is going to kind of intertwine with the rest of Filoni's stuff that he's doing right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. It's so much before everything else. It takes place right as the Empire takes over. But they have cameos in this season that literally gave me goosebumps. Things that just kind of surprised me, and I was like, okay, that's super cool. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to be in that Mandalorian movie that Dave Filoni is making, but I would assume there's probably some plot points that are happening in this that are important to that movie. I think I'll watch Rebels after this because I want to watch.
You totally should. Rebels isn't that long. It's only 4 seasons.
Yeah, I have so many shows. My Hero Academia, and that's the other thing I've been watching. I'm on episode 8 or 9 now, and the show's good. It's a fun show to watch. I don't know why I'm so meh about it. I just want it to be the best thing ever because everyone keeps talking about it like that, and I'm like, that's good. I'm watching it. It's fun. I think it's more so that I just want to be done with it. I don't want to not watch it. I just want it to be done. I just want to be done watching it, or at least caught up, so I can watch the new things and be excited and be on the bandwagon with everyone else. It feels very much like I'm doing it for the FOMO right now, and that's a gross feeling.
See, I feel like there's a lot of people I know that have kind of not given up on My Hero, but just have it's not as hype of a thing as it was when it came out.
Yeah, well, this last season, my friends have been all about it.
Okay,
it's the best season they've had.
Dang.
I'm like, yeah.
That,
so I don't know if maybe it had a lull.
That makes me curious.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there was a point where people kind of were like, eh.
Well, I say that too. So I bet there was a lull. One of my friends from work, she had said that she got to an arc and then her boyfriend got to the same arc. And it was, I don't remember what season it was, but it was literally just the students facing off. And she said it was 6 or 7 episodes of them just fighting each other. It was boring.
Sounds like a good old-fashioned tournament arc.
Yeah. And so it's well, that would make me stop watching too. So
yeah.
She was like, you could almost skip through it. I was like, okay, I might. But that would, you like you're saying, people drop off, they stop talking about it. It stops being such a big deal.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And then LJ, you and I watched Mandalorian. We got one more episode. Comes out tonight.
One more.
For those listening.
Whoa. We'll be able to watch it soon.
Not tonight, probably this morning.
That broke my brain when you said that. I'm like, what?
You're like, what?
I'm like,
get off
hold
podcast
on.
now.
Is this Monday or Tuesday? What day is it?
It already came out probably by the time this comes out.
Yes, I will have watched it first thing in the morning at this point.
I usually watch it that night. But Mandalorian is good. Is Mandalorian not to give too much away for the show, but a simple question: is Mandalorian plural? So they say it's like the Mandalorian, and we know a singular Mandalorian.
I'm pretty sure it's Mandalorians.
But
I don't know the way language works.
I hear them say the Mandalorians, but I've also heard her be like the Mandalorian way.
I think it's just the way of the race.
So I'm like, if Mandalorian,
or the way of
they the Mandalorian?
No, but I feel like you sound like a meme now. Are they the Mandalorian? that sounds like a meme.
So they're the Mandalorians. They're not the Mandalorian.
Yes. The Mandalorian people.
That's the Mandalorian people.
Yeah.
They are the Mandalorian. I don't know. I think there's some wordplay going on with the show right now.
I know what you're trying to do, though. I know. I just hope that they wrap this season up gracefully. Like that they're. I don't know what they can do at this point. This past episode was good though. I enjoyed it, and I keep describing this as like I feel like this is the most Marvel Star Wars show ever, because there was a lot of nonsense going on in between episodes and different plot points and everything. But then they decide, oh hey, remember this? We're gonna wrap up this plot now because we're done. And that's what it kind of feels like they're doing. Mm-hmm. So when I feel like they could have spent the whole point doing this, the whole season doing this, like with each episode. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's kind of hard without giving a lot of spoilers and stuff.
Yep.
I think even bringing up the Mandalorian question, I'm genuinely curious what your opinion on that was. It feels like the show you could add an S to the end of it now, and that's kind of exciting. I mean, that's in the trailers. You see that there's a bunch of Mandalorians, but it feels very much like it's not about our Mandalorian anymore. It's about the Mandalorian people.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like that. I think that broadening it would be a cool way to do that. We'll see how it goes. As long as there are rumors of getting rid of Pedro Pascal, like circulating, and I don't know if there's any truth to that. It's been on the little like news Facebook pages that I see.
Weird. Okay.
And that would be a bummer.
I have really thoughts, but I'm not going to say them here.
Yeah. We'll see. We got one more episode. I don't think they could do a movie without Pedro Pascal. Like, that would be dumb. They could. It'd be annoying.
I'm like, why would you create this character then? Why would you like go through all this work?
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about it after it comes out.
Yeah.
What else have you been watching, LJ?
I've been watching, to keep it in Star Wars, I've been watching more Rebels, and the third season, I think, takes an interesting turn. And I'm almost through the third season to get to the last season. It's good. I do recommend watching it. The first season, I feel like, is kind of the weakest, but then it just progressively gets better and better and better. Yeah. So, highly recommend it. I've also been watching Ted Lasso. I feel like Ted Lasso is a show that like I've been wanting to like this season, but I feel like this last episode was really weird, and now I'm trying to figure out what that show is trying to do, and I think this is the final season for that show, so I'm like highly confused as to where that show is at right now. So, it's one of those things. It remains to be seen, but yeah, that's where I'm at with it. And that's it.
Sweet. We will get into TV news then. We can keep this kind of quick. Speaking of Harry Potter, we have a reboot. It's going to be a TV show. For the sounds of it, it will be a Harry Potter, like, actual Harry Potter reboot.
I'm so mad.
So it's, wait, is it one season? No. Yeah, one season per movie, I think. Or per book.
Harry Potter remake TV show at HBO Max. Now just called Max. Mm-hmm. Not HBO anymore.
Yep.
Each season of the show will adapt one of Rowling's 7 novels.
Yep.
And the author will serve as an executive producer, for being J.K. Rowling. Kind of, from the sounds of it, I don't want to get like too political or too opinionated into this, but basically, from what I've gathered, they didn't want J.K. Rowling, and J.K. Rowling said, "That's fine, but I have the rights to this, so you need to pay me a ridiculous amount of money
She's
to take my
strong-armed.
property and do what you want with it."
Really just
And
awful,
she was
kind of.
like, they were like, "No, we can't afford that." So she's the producer of the show.
I don't know, like, what can I pay you to stay off my set?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's just
that's just.
yeah, I would
Go
be if it was years ago, if the movies either weren't a thing or the books were still coming out or something, I would probably actually be really excited. I think generally speaking, having shows cover like a season per book, like a lot of times it's actually going to let you actually see more stuff that happens in the book. There's less stuff that you need to cut out. In a lot of ways, having a show for a series like this is like really beneficial.
It's a smart idea, but too little.
It's a smart idea. However, one, the movie series isn't even that old, so it still feels like that just feels too soon for me personally. Two,
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling is, and again, I'm not going to get political here because obviously there's lots of political sort of like, you know, people have opinions on her from a political standpoint, but I have opinions on her, yes, from a political standpoint, but I won't talk about that. From a creative standpoint, before she became controversial in a political way, on Twitter and things like that, she took a big nosedive after the book series finished, after the mainline book series finished, even like writing The Cursed Child, and then like random things she would tweet where she would just add this random thing that's apparently canon, and she would just, and like I still even remember when she like said, "Oh yeah, Dumbledore's gay, guys." And it's like, cool, that wasn't mentioned in any of the books at all. You just made that up at the end because you wanted like diversity points, essentially. Like, she's all talk and no show, kind of, in that way. So she makes a lot of stupid creative decisions that she just says, "Oh yeah, this is canon," because she owns it, right? And so she's just like, "Oh, I could just do this." She doesn't think of the consequences of it. I mean, already the books themselves, if you think too hard about the actual lore, the canon, the like how the world works, it doesn't really work. But at least with the books just themselves, or the movies just themselves, you can kind of have that suspension of belief. You can kind of be like, okay, cool, a lot of this can kind of get waved away with magic, whatever. But if you like really dig into it, and again, with like all this extra lore and stuff she's adding, like I remember she made that one website where you can like go take your quiz to see what house you would be in. But then there's also Ilvermorny, which is like the American house. And then she also had all these other houses, or not houses, sorry, schools that are like in other parts of the world as well. But if you really think critically about them, they also just don't make sense. And I remember like reading through it too, and I was just like, none of this makes sense. Like, so part of it, let me give you an example. She goes over how Ilvermorny, it's why she has to make everything impossible to say, I don't know, was created. And I think some of the founders were like, one was a wizard and one was essentially muggle, right? Or no-mage, I think is what they're called, according to Fantastic Beasts, which is annoying, but whatever. And so it's like, you would think, oh, okay, so their main school was founded including someone who was non-magical. You would think then that America would be like pretty cool with like relations between magical and non-magical peoples. But as you can tell in Fantastic Beasts, those movies, which she also has some creative control over and decisions over, which she also makes awful decisions. If you've seen those movies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just utter trash. But one of the things in those movies is that there's a lot of friction between magical and non-magical people, and like a magical person and non-magical person cannot even like get married. They can't date, they can't get married. And that's like a big point. And it's like, okay, why? That doesn't make any through line sense of like, your magical school and the way magic was sort of like introduced in the Harry Potter sort of traditional Wizarding World way to America was through a magical, non-magical like union of peoples. All of a sudden, that's not allowed in the future. Like, that's just like, that's baffling to me, because like obviously in Hogwarts and like, or like in the Harry Potter universe, like that happens, right? Like Harry's parents was someone who was, well, not his parents, but one of them was okay, that's not a good example. They exist though, right? There's people who are like non-magical and magical who like get married or whatever, and it's fine. It's not a big problem, but it's just like,
that's the whole point of
why
the
does
word
she make
mudblood
these?
or whatever.
Yeah, and like it's like, why does she make these creative decisions? I'll never forget the time in which she's like, oh yeah, because Hogwarts existed before plumbing existed. When students need to like do their business, they would just do it out in the open and then just poof away the evidence. And I thought, that is so unhinged. I hate this. You should take, like, someone needs to revoke creative control from her, and unfortunately she's going to just insert herself in this, and it's going to make, like, even though the original Harry Potter series is, like, still wonderful and very dear to my heart, she's just going to have enough room to just insert some really awful things, I'm sure. Just, again, from a creative decision.
Yeah.
I think she's just going to put in this weird stuff. I mean, there's already a bunch of weird stuff with, like, the house elves and the goblins. Like, there's already some controversial stuff just in Harry Potter alone. I almost have a feeling that's going to get exasperated, because she's the type of person where she's like, hey, if you don't like what I do, if you don't like what I think and what I believe, well, I'm going to push back harder. And again, not to get political, but like, that's just the type of person she is. And I have a feeling she would do that in this series as well, which makes me really nervous. Anyway, I just think her being in creative control is actually a bad idea. As a big Harry Potter fan, I just think the show shouldn't exist.
I'm
That's the
more
case for a lot
of
of
the line
people,
of
I
like, I don't like reboots. I love this idea that we're
Yeah.
just like continuing these worlds and then creating new stories based off of the worlds that were already created instead of just creating the same thing again.
Yeah.
Which I think is why I hated Star Wars, like the last 3 like episodes of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where they were just reboots. It was a reboot in disguise. Give me new original stories. But also I wouldn't trust J.K. Rowling with new original stories because the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
exactly.
don't know. Harry Potter, I kind of wish they would just leave alone. I know they
I
never will.
Want them
But-
to, and they almost
They
did
could
for a
just stop.
while. For a while, it seemed like, oh, we're going to be
Yeah.
left alone. Then they did Fantastic Beasts. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Then that failed, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then Hogwarts Legacy came out, and like, that's fine. But now I think that kind of kickstarted this trend of like, oh yeah, there's still money to be made here, guys. We're gonna like,
Hogwarts
Feel
somehow
stuff.
got away with being something that was actually decent for.
yeah,
the
because
fandom.
she didn't have creative control over it. That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
why.
Warner Bros. is
Ugh.
trying really hard to be a Disney number 2 again.
Yeah.
I feel like they were at one point. They did a good job of that with Bugs Bunny and stuff. They've always kind of been competitors, but there's been a long time where Warner Bros. Has been terrible at being Disney. And so it sounds like they're kind of trying again and trying hard.
It's like we said before, they're Disney's Wario.
Yeah, we'll see if it pays off. I doubt it will.
Yeah.
But this is the show, not interested, and I love Harry Potter, so.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel similar. Just makes me sad.
We also have Amazon trying to do its thing. Hopefully better. I was watching the Creed movies. Is MGM the lion?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and the Creed movies had the MGM lion, and I was like, man, I haven't seen the MGM lion in a long time. I just don't watch shows that MGM makes.
Very
apparently.
specific franchises that MGM is still attached to.
Yeah.
Like James
but apparently
Bond.
there are 12
Yeah.
properties that Amazon believes MGM owns that are good and need to be rebooted. A few of them, it looks like the biggest ones are going to be RoboCop and Stargate. They're wanting to turn into Amazon TV shows. And
Stargate was so
Stargate.
huge on Sci-Fi.
like Stargate could be cool. It makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
That's one of those, like, I don't know.
I remember
RoboCop sounds like a great TV show.
You can
You
get
could do
into
RoboCop
some
on
sketchy. I think like if you like, I think that could easily be turned into like a political thing somehow with RoboCop. But I think a RoboCop show would be
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I just want RoboCop.
Yeah.
That, it sounds super fun, especially like an Amazon grade, like HBO Max type.
That remake, I think they remade the movie, and I don't think that was very good.
Yeah, that wasn't great. They have Legally Blonde. They're working on a TV show for.
Oh, that's funny.
Panther film.
I could see Legally Blonde working as a show.
Amazon is also producing a series to compete against James Bond. Don't know what that's about. And Magnificent Seven.
That breaks my brain because like you have Jack Ryan. I mean, I guess it's not like a spy thing, but you have Jack Ryan and Reacher already.
Yeah, maybe it's something like that.
And you have without the Tom Clancy thing, Without Remorse, which they can easily just make a Rainbow Six movie or show out of that to compete. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. All these are kind of in the works. Some of it sounds exciting. I would love Amazon to do.
I would really like a RoboCop show because you could do gritty Detroit like they did in the original movie so well today. I think.
Yeah, I'm saying. I don't use Amazon Prime much. Vox Machina has been in it, and The Boys when it comes out.
I really don't either.
I would be okay going on Amazon Prime more if there was more to watch. Didn't really get into Jack Reacher or anything like that. So I mean, it's not that they don't have shows, but
yeah,
it definitely could use more. Amazon, I could see in the next 10 years becoming a pretty big rival against everything else. Really failed with Lord of the Rings, so we'll see.
Which I still need to finish.
Oh, wow. Their season 2's had all sorts of trouble. We didn't really talk about it on here, but a horse died, and then set was set on fire.
Oh!
Yeah, they've been having issues. So we'll see. Season 2 is any better than the first one. The first season was a dumpster fire, so makes sense their set would set on fire too.
Bruh.
Hopefully no one was hurt. I feel kind of bad now.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
sure if anyone was hurt or that.
Ouch.
My gosh.
Oh.
That was terrible. Okay. This is why I'm Christian, guys. I need Jesus. We have our last one is Knuckles. I'm really sad that Knuckles, the show, isn't called And Knuckles. I feel
Missed
like as aware
opportunity.
as they are, it would be so perfect
Yep.
to call it And Knuckles. I mean, we would all call it Knuckles anyways. You guys watched the new episode of Knuckles?
Yeah.
And Knuckles would be
And
so
Knuckles.
perfect. Anyways, it sounds like we didn't really know what this was gonna be. I knew Idris Elba was coming back. We still don't know if it's CGI'd like Knuckles or if it's like animated. I guess anime is CGI anymore, but like a live action type thing or not. But we have Idris Elba who played Knuckles, and then Adam Pally. I don't know. And Tika Sumpter. There's a bunch of names that I don't really know, but they were all in the Sonic movies, and they're returning. So that's kind of cool.
And apparently some of those other actors have done like voice work. I think a bunch of those actors have done voice work already too. Like, so it's like, I assume they're going to be from Knuckles' like past and flashbacks because we got a lot of that back in a few of the games. So I think they could like do that in this too.
And Knuckles.
And Knuckles.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really exciting. Not sure when that's coming out.
It just started
I think
production.
It's supposed to come out before Sonic 3.
It just started production today.
Sometime later this year, yeah. And Sonic the Hedgehog 3 will end in theaters December 20th, 2024. So.
Yep, and it's supposed to take place in between Sonic 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's cool. I might watch it. I don't know how much I care about the Sonic universe. I love the movies, but
I already
I
have
love them
Paramount
that
Plus
much.
anyway, so I'm definitely going to watch it.
There you go. I mean, if you have it. We'll end the podcast there then. You guys geeking out about anything else this week?
I think that's it for now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shelley, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
And LJ?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch at LJ the Paladin.
Cool. And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour and on twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace on Wednesdays.
Sweet.
Playing Chained Echoes, which is an RPG. It's a lot of fun.
Sweet.
Cool. Keep gaming. Keep Keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.